Hi guys, welcome to ITF Late Night Live. Here with Max Richter and Jesse Calhoun, Lancaster Legends Fed alumni, one Lancaster Club alumni, and also a couple national champions. So why don't we start first with
Couple.
that national championship? You guys just kind of want to walk me through just your memories from last year playing for Cheektowaga leading up to nationals.
You want to tell you, man?
Jess, you can start.
So what, like leading up to it and that?
Yeah.
So, I think the banquet before the tryouts for the national championship year, Coach Miller, he was standing up at the podium and he was like, we're not thinking states, we're thinking nationals this year." And I was like, "Yeah, all right, coach." I was like, "Whatever. Like it'd be cool to just make states." And then we finished second in the division because we couldn't beat the Bisons. And then states, we started slow. Bryson Miller with 2 goals in the first game really helped us out there. And then
Bryson is watching, by the way. He says hi to both of you.
Is he?
He is.
Bryson, what's up, buddy? 2 goals
Big
in the
junior
first
saber
game.
guy.
So then, what was after Syracuse? We played. Trying to remember.
I don't even remember the teams we played.
Oh, we played Greater New York, and then we.
Oh yeah, we dropped like 6 on them.
Yeah, we beat them pretty easily.
Husey drops a casual hat trick.
Then next day we played St. Lawrence and barely beat them with a last-second empty netter. And then Syracuse in the semis, there was 2 Syracuse teams. We played the different Syracuse team in the semis, beat them by 2 or 3, and then it's the Syracuse from the first game. We played them in the final, and I think we beat them pretty easily too. They made a comeback, and they started to make a comeback in the third, and then I think, was it Max? Did you ice it in the third? Who scored that one?
In the final?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No big deal. Just ice the game for us right quick.
My only 2 goals in that tournament.
I think I only had 1. And that was I think it was the St. Lawrence game.
Assisted by yours truly.
Yeah, that's true.
That season was a roller coaster of emotions for me. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to play in states, but Toner got me a medical leave after breaking my collarbone in 3 places. So that was fun. I missed the first half of the season and then came back, and the rest is history, really.
Coach Tony's watching too. He says, "Looking good, guys."
I see
Tony.
And then you obviously went on from there to nationals. Just what was that whole trip like? Being able to even make that trip out to Dallas, and then being able to win it all once you got there.
Well, again, roller coaster of emotions for me because I was. It was a great time up until the last 2 days when Ryan Albert gave me the stomach flu. So I was dying mid-trip, but
yeah, that whole situation was kind of messed up.
I didn't really
just randomly got sick.
Ruffner made the save.
That's true.
He just shows up to the rink.
Awesome.
He wasn't even allowed to sit on the bench with us. He had to sit in the stands with his equipment on.
Yeah. I remember that.
And then talk about that, that championship game there to win it all, just how crazy the comeback was in that game.
Well, obviously going down 4-1 in any game isn't ideal. And I think the turning point was when that kid got tossed and was blowing kisses to our parents section and that. And everyone was like, "Are you kidding me? Like he's really that confident right now?" And then we turned it around, and I think when Chris tied the game at 4-4, Toko was in the kid's face blowing kisses at him through the glass. That was pretty funny to watch back when I just recently watched the game back. That was pretty funny. And then obviously overtime, it was a bit nerve-wracking the whole time, every time they had the puck in our end. But when you have Josh Ruffner in that, there's really not much to worry about when you're in clutch time.
Yeah, nothing's going in against Father Josh.
No, sir.
Anything to add to that?
About 10 minutes left. About 10 minutes left in the third period. He's not letting in another goal. It's that easy.
Not much, but other than it was all lines were going too, so it wasn't even like it was one line that was going on. I think we had 3 different lines contribute to the comeback during that. So I think that was the coolest part about it.
Awesome. And then I guess we'll switch gears a little bit, talk about Fed season this year, and club season too. And I understand you guys have a couple questions for each other, so I'm gonna let you guys take it away a little bit. Max, why don't you interview Jesse first?
All right, let me get my list right here of not really questions, but I'm not too familiar with the club season up until playoffs. So what would you say? Give me a recap on the season.
Well, let's see. I think the weekend rosters came out. Our first league game was that Sunday against Orchard Park, which obviously wasn't the way you want to start the season when you're not totally sure with who's on the team yet. I'm not sure if we had a practice before the game or not, but then we're coming in playing Orchard Park. But we actually started the game and scored the first goal like 7 seconds in, and that was pretty hype for everybody. We were going nuts. Evan Sinsky, shout out, had the assist on that one. But I think then they worked us pretty good and won like 5-1, 6-1, something like that. We definitely started the season slower than we should have. We were losing games that we definitely were in and should have won. But then towards the end, obviously, they made the States run, and we were winning games at the end there. Playoff second round matchup against Orchard Park isn't really ideal for the squad, but we gave them some competition. I think it was like 2-1, 3-1, 2 games or something like that. And then obviously moment of the year was that Mary's game at the Rec when the whole Fed team was there in the crowd and everyone was going bananas the whole time. Everyone was going nuts, and that was definitely the highlight of the year for everybody. Besides States, I mean, I can't really speak for them because I was only at one of the States games because it was in Jamestown and I wasn't allowed to play. So, but the highlight for me was definitely that Mary's playoff game where all the Fed kids were there. It was a good time.
I almost got kicked out. And then bringing up on that playoff run, your thoughts on the hype man himself, Coach Mitch.
Oh, Coach Mitch. I mean, you can't really say anything bad about Coach Mitch. He did what he needed to do. It was his first year as the club coach. He came in. At the start, he was still trying to like feel out what everyone was at. But when he knew what he had from the guys that were on the ice, he definitely put out the right guys to help us succeed later in the season. And he was definitely the hype man in the locker room. That States game I went to, when we won the game, he came in all fired up. He was yelling. He was definitely the hype man on the team.
Back to the St. Mary's game. Your game-winning goal. Walk through it.
Oh man. I think it was a shot from the point, and I was just standing in the slot, and it bounced right out to me. I don't remember if I lifted it or not. I just kind of took a whack at it, and I didn't really know where the puck went, but then the ref was waving that it was a goal, and I just remember going bananas, skated over to the student section, everyone was popping off. That was definitely one of the
length of the ice, jump into the glass.
Yeah, man. Whatever you got to do. Everyone was hyped up after that one. For sure.
I mean, you're just a man of game-winning goals, shifting gears to Fed, the Canisius goal. Going through your head at post-game, during?
I think it was the shift started because Bukowski couldn't play that game because it was the glass redo game. So Bukowski was all dressed, he was ready to go, and then he couldn't play, so I moved up to his spot. And then towards the end of the game, Dixon was rotating with me. We were going every other. And he went again when it was my turn. And then I think Carl was the one who recognized it. he was like, no, Dixon, it's Jesse's turn. So I went out. Ended up, I think I was standing in the slot, and me and Jonah locked eyes, and he just threw me the puck, and I think I one-timed the 5-hole, and that was one of the more memorable moments of the season too.
Yeah, being a selfish player you are. 6 goals, 0 assists.
Hey, watch it.
Shooter, shoot.
Hey.
And then towards the end of the year, your Shadow Series Flylight. If I got the stick correct. Your emotions. An emotional goodbye.
I wasn't happy with that one, man. I wasn't happy with that one. It was right at the end of the game too. It wasn't necessary. The kid just 2-hand over the head slammed it, and I was standing there like this, and it was just in 2 pieces. It was so high up on the stick too. I couldn't believe it. And then yeah, I wasn't happy with that one.
That's really all I got for Jess.
All right, Jesse has a few questions for the captain, Max Richter. So go ahead, Jesse.
All right, Max. How did it feel to lead the team wearing the C into every game? Was it like a different feeling than Fed previous years? No.
Not really. It didn't. It had a little extra feeling being in the center of the pregame stretches, but it didn't really feel different having a letter on the jersey. Just played a normal game.
Well, balancing off the perks of being a captain, you took the ceremonial puck drop against North, and you ended up losing it. And I think some of the guys believed that was the reason that they scored first and not us, because you lost the ceremonial puck drop. Care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, going in, I went up against David O'Donohue, and I knew he was a defenseman, so I knew he didn't get the chance to take faceoffs a lot. So I said, I'll let him win this one. So I took the sacrifice of being embarrassed on the news of losing the puck drop, so David could win it.
That's fair.
That was nice of you. It was nice of you.
Cost us the tiebreaker toss, but whatever.
I wouldn't go that far.
I think some would.
I made up for it.
How many goals did you have in that game?
I had goal and 2 assists.
Goal and 2 assists. All right, bouncing off that, what was your favorite memory from the Fed season this year?
There's a couple. Probably the St. Joe's. The first St. Joe's game, where I think it was our biggest crowd of the season so far, and we were the first team to take a point away from Joe's. Yeah, we were the first team in the section that year to take a point away from Joe's. So I think it was just super hype. Like John Luca, I could just still hear him yelling on the ice.
Yeah, John Luca was always on there.
Opening up a goal from Emil, backhand, top shelf. I still remember behind the net seeing it go in. And then probably my hat trick against Will North, just seeing Antonio and Will pound on the glass and everything's just shaking.
Back to the teddy bear toss game real quick. We have Josh Ruffner, or Father Josh, or
Rough Dad
in the comments here. And he says that was on him, so I think he's trying to take the blame for allowing that first goal.
It's never on you, Josh. It's never on you.
Yeah, Josh loves
always find someone to blame it on. Always find someone to blame it on, Josh. It's not on you. Jeez.
All right, Jesse, do you have another question there for Max?
That's all I got.
All you got? All right. I mean, you asked Max what his favorite memory from Fed season was. What was your favorite memory?
Probably that goal against Canisius. That was probably my favorite moment. Getting that game winner, going back to the bench, and everyone was like going nuts and punching me in the head. It was a good memory.
Good
Yeah, that
feeling,
was
I'm
me. I
sure.
punched him.
And I know the season didn't end the way you guys wanted with, a really tough triple overtime loss, but all season you guys, you played well, you had a real good team, you had a lot of success during the regular season. What made the team so special this year, and what were some of the reasons for your success as a team?
Going in, we didn't really know how the season was gonna pan out. With Bach coming in, taking Miller's spot, but you could just feel something at the beginning of the season. A lot of people say it, but you just felt something different. Like we're all just like, this is our year. Unfortunately, yeah, like you said, it didn't. We lost to a strong Will North team who was going strong at the end, but we just became stronger together as the season went on, game by game. We dropped a couple injuries, but even the practices were still fun every night.
I think part of it also goes to having the goaltending that we did with Ruffner and Goodyear. They both, whenever they were on the ice, they always gave it their all. They were guys we could rely on every single game. We knew who we had, and we knew that they weren't going to let anything easy go in. They were definitely key members to the team from what we did this year.
Yeah, pond scum yelling at you every practice after you made a save or you missed the net.
Yeah, the chirps from pond scum was always got the boys going.
Going off of that, and this is kind of a question, has come up in a few of these live shows. Is there anything, you kind of wish you had known ahead of time going into your senior year, or going into varsity hockey?
Ooh. Whew.
I guess I maybe should have prepared you guys for that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you repeat it?
Yeah, is there anything that you wish you would have known ahead of time going into your senior year now that you're looking back? Or even, any sort of advice you could give, juniors now going into their senior year?
I guess I wish I would have known it would have gotten cut short. Maybe I don't know because like now that we're not in school anymore, we can't really see any of the people we were used to seeing every day. And
yeah, cherish everything.
Yeah,
practices,
man,
even
really,
just every class.
Even if like you got a bad teacher or something, just enjoy just going in every day, knowing that. Yeah, I don't know.
Take a late arrival.
Yeah, late arrival.
Take
late arrival, definitely.
Coach Tony Perino has a question for you guys. He says, going to college next year, what are your thoughts? Are you excited? Are you nervous? And if you guys want to talk a little bit about, where you're each going, and I know you're both planning to play club hockey in college too, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys want to talk about that a little bit, just kind of what you're expecting going forward.
Go ahead, Jess.
Well, towards the start of this year, I was definitely more nervous than excited because I wasn't like I was up in the air with dorming and commuting and all that. I've been all over the place the whole year with like majors and that. But now that I've got it circled down and figured out, and I know that I'm in a dorm and stuff, that it's definitely more exciting than anything else. I'm pretty excited to see what's next and play more hockey.
Yeah, it's exciting for me because I'm going out of state. I'm going to John Carroll in Ohio. I'm pretty excited because I'm dorming with Ethan Miller, teammate from Fed, and I just know a couple of Western New York kids going up there already. So I'm pretty excited.
Awesome. And for hockey there at John Carroll and at Canisius for Jesse, what are you guys expecting with that?
I don't really think I have any expectations right now. I'm trying to just go in and prove myself pretty much.
John Carroll, yeah, they got a good team. They past 4 years, I think they have two titles of the league that they're in. I forgot the name of it, but they're a good D1 club team. So it's going to be good competition while still having fun.
Awesome. And then, once Fed season did come to an end this year, you guys went back into travel, or thought that's what was going to happen. You guys want to talk about that a little bit? Just kind of, everything getting canceled, disappointment, and kind of, how it, I guess, affected your perspective on everything.
Yeah, everything getting cut short. It's obviously heartbreaking with states being canceled because as soon as tryouts happened, group chat, Road to Cali, Natty's Part 2 is created, and it was our goal since day one to go to California and compete for the two-peat, and having it cut short, not even getting a chance, it just sucks.
Yeah, that was definitely the focal point the whole year, because we were just like, we're going on another run this year, and to have that taken away was definitely not easy for anybody.
Yeah,
and it ruined my chicken nuggets.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I was eating my McDonald's when I got the news.
I think that was the most awkward McDonald's run I've ever had. It was 6 of us. It was who else was there?
Husey,
Preston,
and I think that was it. I think there was 5.
Was it 5? I think it was just 5.
I don't know.
Yeah, we were all like joking around and smiling at it, and then when the news came, we were just sitting there in silence, just like trying not to believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. With that, you kind of, your youth hockey coming to an end like that, looking back on everything from Cheektowaga to Fed to club to JV, modified everything. What are some of your favorite memories from playing hockey growing up?
I think definitely that mod team. That mod team was so special. We were have fun. We were a have fun first team, but we also won some games, and I would always leave
second last.
I think we had like 4 or 5 wins, dude. But I would always leave the rink smiling. We had a really good time that year.
Yeah, it was more about the locker room memories than it is on the on ice memories. That you make a lot of memories in the locker room because you see the same guys just 4 times a week, and just knowing that that's over it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And that was that was your first year playing together, right? So you want to talk about that a little bit, just kind of how you guys met and, started playing together?
I wish it didn't happen. I hate Max.
These guys are really good friends, buddy. In case you can't tell.
Biggest pigeon I know.
Well, I remember always hearing he was a good player, and then when Mod came around and I played with him for the first time, I definitely saw that firsthand. And going to Cheektowaga, I always knew that when he was on the ice, he was always a threat to score goals because he always seems to do that somehow.
Yeah, going in, I didn't really know Jesse that well. I knew he was a hockey kid, and but it's always weird when I played for Southtowns at the time, and I don't think anybody else at Lancaster except for Smitty played with me. So I'd never played with any of these guys before with any other organizations because I didn't grow up playing like beginner hockey. I played beginner hockey in West Seneca, so I never grew up with any of these kids. So going in, I didn't really know anybody, but that team was special because you knew that you were going to be playing with these guys for the next 4 or 5 years.
Awesome. Yeah, and then just any other memories. I know we had talked about a street hockey championship that you guys played in. You guys want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I created the God Squad of Tony's Street Fest, where sorry Tony if you're still in here, but it was the competition of who would go into the finals because it was so hot that day that we just wanted to go home and take naps. So we tried to.
That was brutal.
Each team in the semifinal tried to throw the game until we got in trouble at halftime and told to take it serious.
The one lady that was running the score clock was furious. She was like, She just started screaming at us. It was kind of funny just standing there.
We had goalies shooting on each other. We had just like giving breakaways, and then we drew the short stick of going into the final, and then end up winning because Ruffner once again standing on his head.
Nice. Anything else to add to that, Jesse?
Oh wait, we had email as the ringer because one of our guys left. I don't remember who it was.
Apparently we cheated because we didn't have a sub, I don't believe, and our one player just totally forgot that he had a roller hockey championship game that day, so we just left.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we asked them if it was okay if we brought an email, and I think he dropped 2 goals on them in a 4-3 win.
Their parents were
happy about it.
Oh, we bring in the ringer, and
he didn't even have a white shirt. He just wore a gray T-shirt. So we were accused of cheating, but I got the trophy. So
got the medal right here.
There we go. Beautiful.
Display it proudly.
Yeah. Again, if you guys have any more questions in the comments here, feel free to send those in. Yeah. What's your favorite part about growing up playing hockey? Because I know it's been, long ride for both of you, and you don't play. Your focus is basically hockey pretty much year round. So, what do you love about playing? What have you loved about playing growing up?
Not the 5 a.m. practices.
Max, do you want to talk about those 5 a.m. practices?
I didn't hate them. I actually liked them.
Max, you want to talk about how important those are?
Yeah, they're pretty important, especially before a big OP rivalry game where you sleep through practice and then have a game in 2 days. Yeah, I think the worst part wasn't that I slept in. The worst part was that I made fun of Dixon for it when he did it 3 weeks before. So when I did it, I didn't hear the end of it for at least 2 months.
Well, Jesse, you enjoyed the 5 a.m. practices?
I actually did. It was good because that was the only time I went to Tim Hortons before school was when we had the practices in the morning. So I would do that, and then I was awake for Hershey's class every day. So that was definitely more exciting too.
It wasn't even like I could go to I can get in my car and go to practice because I didn't even have a car at that time. Because it was right when a deer ran into my door, so I was getting it fixed. So I was relying on my neighbor for rides, and I was just sitting in bed like I just can't get to practice right now. So it was a fun couple periods in school.
Where were we driving home from when you just came up next to me at the stoplight? You were like, "Dude, a deer just hit my car." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, we were coming home from workouts, and I'm just chilling with my window down, and next thing I know, I just hear a big thud in the mirror. It's just I'm looking at myself in my side mirror, and I looked, I peeked my head out, and I'm like, there's no damage. I called my mom right away. I'm like, it doesn't look like there's any damage. I looked out the window. I didn't really see much, and then I got home, and my door didn't work.
Oh man. And obviously you guys played hockey, but you went to a few of the football, basketball games, supported the other sports and everything all year. What kind of
2-section champs?
What are some of your favorite memories from, just I guess being a part of Lancaster athletics, whether it was playing or the student section or anything like that?
Our tailgates were pretty top notch.
Oh yeah,
we had we ran a street hockey game one time, and it was just I'm surprised we didn't dent a car with how we were playing with all the green biscuits flying around.
Dude, that was brutal.
I lost a pair of sunglasses too to the mosh pit. That was a sad moment.
I remember you thought they were in my car. You were like blaming me for 2 weeks that they were in my car. Like,
no, because I popped the lens back in and I put them in there during the street hockey game, and I just never saw them again.
It was definitely
anyways.
It was definitely fun. Me and Max and our buddy Gummo, we pretty much carpooled every game, and car rides there and back were definitely fun. More the car rides back after wins were definitely more fun than losses, but it was just being in the student section and just going nuts. That was something that I'm definitely glad I did this year.
Are you glad you hosted a couple halftime
shows? New York.
What else do you guys have?
It's not a good It's not a good student section if you still have your voice at the end of the game.
Yeah, Max killed his voice on a few occasions there.
Dude, the headaches.
Every single game.
Dude, the headaches after games were so bad.
Just from the noise and screaming and.
I just remember laying in bed after the. I don't remember what game it was, but I was just laying there. I was like, "Why did I do this?" Like I couldn't fall asleep because my head hurt so bad.
That doesn't sound fun, but. And then we kind of touched on it too, but it's just we got the news today that school's done for the rest of the year. So just if you guys want to talk about kind of your thoughts on that, I know you were saying it kind of hasn't quite hit yet, but just your thoughts for yourselves, what you guys have kind of lost this spring, to your classmates, to just the athletes around and the students around, especially other seniors. If you guys just want to kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely leaves a mark when you go 13 years through school just so you can live it up during your senior year, and just when it's starting to get good, it gets taken away from you with graduation probably being canceled, probably no prom, and just the end of classes are always fun when AP exams are over and you're not really doing much other than just goofing off. So I think that part of school is what I miss the most.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely one thing is that some of the guys that I see in school every day, I probably won't see again because they're all going different places for college and all that. And I don't really remember like my last day of school because like I didn't really think anything of it at the time. But now like looking back, I can't really remember anything like that I did, and that's something that's definitely not sitting right.
Yeah, it was just another day at school, and then you just normally the last day is something special.
Yeah, the last day you're not supposed to do anything. You just sit there just talking to everybody and that. And then
Miss Marinelli's class at third period getting yelled at every morning.
Yeah. You guys have anything else to add to that? Or add to, your memories of Lancaster?
There's a lot that
yes.
Some of them can't be shared, but I'm trying to think. I think you said. I think the highlight of it was in the fall during the football games. Basketball games were fun too, especially seeing Peter get thrown out, and Will just dripping sweat. I think Will would sweat more than our coach. Would sweat more than Otto.
I think that was my first basketball game. Like Peter was just yelling at a guy, and the guy just goes out, and he just grabs his coat and walks out.
Speaking of basketball games, we have student section legend Dan Christopher here with a question. He wants to know your favorite teacher this year.
Marinelli.
Yeah, mine would either be Marinelli or Miss Fisher. I've been going to Miss Fisher's room for study halls since last year. I'd be in her room like half the school day, and nothing will beat my 6th period nap. I would bring in a pillow and a blanket every other day, and I'd literally just crash. And the one time I almost missed 7th period because nobody woke me up.
Definitely Marinelli because he doesn't hold punches. He'll like if we're like you just say something stupid, he'll call you out on it and call you stupid. It was always a good laugh. And, I had him in the beginning of the day, so it was always a good way to wake up and laughing in Marinelli's class.
Max says Ryan Militello says he's gonna miss 5th and 6th period.
Yeah, you just come there and start. Man, especially when you have your scooter. You just take scooter rides.
And then Austin Gomo says Max can't throw himself into the lockers one more time.
I think
he was planning on it.
I've been planning that since last year. I did it last year on the last day of school. First day of school, I said I'm going to do it again on the last day. And I was going to do it in Marinelli of how disappointing I am. And that's all gone. I had it all mapped out.
Dude, Marinelli would have, I don't know how he would have reacted. He would have either, just looked at you or he would have, yelled at you or something.
Especially because our lockers were right next to his classroom. So
Dude,
he either would have heard it and ran out.
It always felt like he was listening to us because he was just standing there before the next period. He was just standing there staring at us, just it was always a good time.
I know what I want to do to close. I don't know if we're ready to. Oh, here we go. We have a question here from William Kachalski for Max. He says, Max, from ages 8 to 11, who is the best street hockey goalie you have ever faced?
That's a tough one. Will Kachalski, I can successfully say that he built my hockey career. I moved to Lancaster, and he was the first person I met on my street. And I was playing street hockey by myself. My net didn't move in yet. The truck didn't come through, so I was playing with a recycling bin. And so he said he'd hop in net for me. And it was a good 4-year run with Will on that street where we would just play street hockey every day.
Awesome. Oh, we have another question from Dan Christopher. He says, who's the better ITF halftime host, Peter or Will?
Will.
Will. I'm sorry, Petey, but the energy, nobody can match it.
Peter didn't get hit in the head with a puck and then turn around and get the crowd fired up, dude. There's no one like Will.
Will's the hype man. Peter's the heckler.
And Will's analytical, analysis of the game. That's the word I'm looking for. During each halftime show was great too, as Jesse can attest to. He didn't really understand it, but
he put me to shame in those basketball ones. I was clueless, and then he came in and he was like, "Yeah, they're hitting those shots," and I was just standing there like, "All right."
Wish I had that clip. You go, I don't know what any of that meant, but
yeah, that was, he went into a 2-minute rant about something. I was like, "Yeah, don't know what that means, but we're playing good."
Yeah,
I was lost.
You weren't too bad as a host either, Jesse. You'd take it away a little bit there.
I just showed up for Justin Hughes.
Yeah, also a national champion and a section champion, so that was a big deal. Guys, keep these questions coming. This is fun. You guys have any more questions for each other that you've thought of, or anything you want to say to each other?
Anything I want to say to him, huh?
I'm surprised how nice you guys have been to each other, actually, for most of this.
You said I wasn't allowed to swear, so that's the biggest part.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, no swearing. That's a icing the Fed rule. Everybody knows that.
I think Albert broke that a couple times, though.
I did think Albert did break it a couple times, but you let him slide.
Yeah, I mean, I would edit it.
Fair.
He usually caught himself.
Is that a Bowman Cup jersey, Max? You want to elaborate on that?
There we go.
Huh?
Tell us about your Bowman Cup experience.
My bad luck charm was there, so I was quite upset. Our one family friend, he's been to 4 of my games, and I think those have been the 4 worst games I've ever played in my life. So when I stole the puck and I got absolutely robbed before Tyler Hunt scored, I was just like, it's his fault. But then I realized that I'm the one that shot it. But it was a fun experience meeting Scotty Bowman, and just when walking in and having your name on a stall with your jersey hanging up was pretty cool.
Yeah, Yeah, the Bowman Cup is always one of my favorite experiences to be able to see those jerseys and to be able to see, kids from different teams interact and be able to play together who haven't before. It's always kind of cool to see how that dynamic works.
Yeah, especially when you a guy that just knocked you out of the playoffs not much longer than like 2 weeks ago, and now you're teammates, and you just want to knock them out, but then you realize that they're actually pretty cool people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely shifts your perspective.
It's crazy. It's crazy how different people are on and off the ice. Actually,
Yeah.
Really nice people.
Ethan Miller says, Max, I'm a better street hockey goalie.
But... That's cap.
Ethan, I lit you up at Kiza, bro.
Mac, do you have any other questions?
Do we not remember the sequence that I made, Ethan? I was literally on my back, made 4 different saves. I kept that one team in it, and you know it.
Dan Christopher wants to know your favorite NHL team.
Tampa Bay.
Besides the Sabres, I'm an Avs fan. Been an Avs fan since I met my friend Dylan Felser, and he was a big Matt Duchene fan. So I've been really fans with them since then. And my dad coincidentally won a Colorado Avalanche basket at a Chinese raffle, so I got a little bit of merch there. So I was like, I'll stick with this team.
I was when Stamkos came into the league, I was a huge Stamkos fan, so I've kind of grown into a Tampa Bay Lightning fan.
I don't know if that question was for me, but I like the Sabres and the Ducks. So
the Ducks.
Yeah. Austin Gummo called I guess he called both of you bandwagon fans, but
yeah, nothing to do
Jesse's a bandwagon because he's a Patriots fan, but we won't go into that.
Nah, dude.
Another comment here from Coach Tony. He says, Max, I remember a phone call from you before States while I was on the bench for the 11-day power play, and you told me about your collarbone.
Yeah, when that happened, I think he was like the first call that I made besides my dad, who's the only person in town. I was more scared of what Tony was going to say rather than my parents, because it was like 2 weeks before our season started.
You did it in a soccer game, right?
No, it was July. Yeah, so I knew that my recovery was going to be like 2 weeks until like the season started. I was cleared to skate 2 weeks before our first game, and I still had another month before I was contacted again.
You did it in a soccer game, right?
I did.
You did it in a soccer game? You say?
I did. Yeah, I did in a soccer game. Out of all sports, to break a collarbone in, I broke it during soccer.
Oh my god.
That was definitely one of the weirder group chats to open. It was just Max's X-ray of a broken collarbone. He was like, "Well, this happened." I was like,
"Yeah, the bone actually almost stuck or like poked through the skin." It was almost one of those experiences because, when it happened, I dislocated my right shoulder. So when it happened to my left, I thought it was just I just thought I just popped it out. So I tried to pop it back in, but it turned out I broke the collarbone in 3 different places. So I was actually making it worse. So that shows why I'm in AOF and not the healthcare academy. I think I actually called Tony down into the hospital.
He says he remembers the hospital, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Jesse, any crazy injury stories?
8 games.
Honestly, no. I don't think I've never broken a bone.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know what it feels like.
Only thing I've broken is my nose.
I've broken my nose, both wrists. I dislocated a shoulder, broke a clavicle.
Wow.
Probably one of my
out there.
Probably one of my worst injuries was, well, it's not a bad injury or anything, but the first Southtown scrimmage this year, I was coming around the net and a kid blindsided me, and I put my arm like back to try and like catch my fall, and it like popped out and popped right back in. So that's been killing me ever since, but it's nothing major.
I would have thought your biggest injury was the sweep called Columbus.
All right, we have another question here from Dan Christopher. Really hard-hitting question here. He wants to know your favorite holiday.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving dinner.
Thanksgiving too. I travel. I usually go down to visit family in North Carolina during Thanksgiving, so that's always fun seeing them.
Yeah, Thanksgiving dinner is always nice because we always have it at my house, so we have 3 days of leftovers. So it's always a good time and eating all that.
Nice. Yeah, Thanksgiving's good for sure. Nate Lawrence says, Jesse, best inventor in business planning history.
Yeah, we just came over that today. Hersher's been on us. There's like this final project that we've just been like ignoring, kind of. But then today I sat down and I was like, all right, we got to do this. So I drew up like a box or something that cleans equipment.
Yeah.
I got a question for Dan in here. Are you a big fan of KFC?
Dan, if you want to answer that question in the comments, he wants to know if you're. Oh, okay. Nate said that was it was a statement, not a question. Nate is confirming that you're the best inventor in business planning history.
Thanks, Nate. You're not too bad yourself, Nate.
It looks like Coach Tony's getting off. He says, you guys are great. Stay safe.
Yeah,
you too, Tony.
He's getting old.
You too.
Time for bedtime.
We might have Tony on a live at some point, so stay tuned for that.
Oh, that would be wild.
It's gonna be flashing his gold ring.
He wears that thing everywhere.
Yeah.
He had to be bigger and better than everyone else. He had to get his gold.
He had to get his gold. Yeah. Dan Christopher says, let's not talk about KFC.
If we're not talking about KFC, can we talk about Pool Mart?
What about Pool Mart, Dan? Or your own business? No, we won't talk about that either.
Oh, that has to be one of my favorite interviews. We took it over.
Yeah, I think I'll give a couple more minutes here if anybody has any last questions. But one question for you guys. I know you kind of talked about, kind of what you wish you would have known going into your senior year, but just overall, besides that, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Can be sports related or not. What's something that just kind of stuck with you?
When we're freshmen, we're required to take a class where there's 2 senior teachers that really just give advice about throughout high school. And it's really cliche, but it was the piece that stuck to me was getting involved and break kind of like your social barrier, where once you put yourself out there, there's really nothing that can really stop you when you don't really care what other people think. As Jesse has seen during our tailgates. I think a great example is Zach Friel, who showed up in a wig and a gorilla costume. I think that's the kind of confidence that you need.
All right, I like it.
For me, it's probably going into senior year, just live it up because it's your senior year. So I went into senior year with a totally different mindset.
What was that, Max?
I went in with
said you never know when it's going to be cut short.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jesse. You can go ahead and finish.
I went in with a totally different mindset than I did for like the past 3 years. Like I was going in like, all right, this is it. So I tried to make the most of it and have as much fun as I could. And that's definitely something that helped me for what I had of a senior year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. Stay on for a second after I close this out. And thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for the great questions. This will be posted later so you guys can watch it if you missed it live, or if you just want to go back and rewatch this over and over. It'll be up on the YouTube channel sometime later tonight or tomorrow morning. So thank you everyone for watching, and have a great night.